Hello and welcome to Tales from the Backlog. My name is Steve Boshier and I am a very small person. Morally, emotionally. If you don't know this channel, this is Shadows of Archonia, where we run all sorts of tabletop role-playing games on stream. On our Friday night show, we play in person at a table, and we tell ongoing stories over there in mostly Worlds Without Number, but also we've gotten into Merkborg, DCC, and Cities Without Number recently, as well as others. On Monday nights like tonight, we tell short 1 to 3, sometimes 5 session stories in as many games as we can get our hands on and try. Tonight we're in Back Again from the Broken Land, which Sarah is running for us. Before I turn it over to her, let me just say, if you like this channel, if you like what we do, hit subscribe on YouTube, hit follow on Twitch, come join our Discord and talk to us. If you really like what we do, you can also join our Patreon to help support us. We also have Twitch subscriptions, YouTube memberships, all sorts of ways that you can help to try and make the show a little bit better. Support the channel, and so forth. That's it for me for now. Sarah, why don't you tell us what we're doing tonight?
Absolutely. Tonight we are playing Back Again from the Broken Land. This is a game by Alexi and Leah Sargent. It is available on itch.io. itch.io. It is also available as a book that you can purchase from them at Cloven Pine Games. So thank you very much. It is a very fun and interesting game concerning our players are small people who have walked into a big war. And this is actually the part of the story that takes place between the great climax of the battle, in which our players played a unexpectedly crucial part, and they are now on their way home. And as they are walking home, they are recognizing the damage, the burdens, but also the joys, and looking forward to the comforts of home as they make their way back together, dealing with the changes that have occurred. So why don't we have already done, since we are going to be covering the whole game in one night, this is going to be a one-shot, so we've already done our setup questions online via Discord. So I'm going to have everybody go around and introduce their character, and then we are going to jump directly into our little introductory scene where we will introduce these backstory elements that we have decided upon and properly meet everybody in character for the first time. So you in the red shirt, why don't you start?
Oh, all right. So I am playing Amish Fieldwright. I am a shepherd by trade. It's a long story, what got me to come down here doing battle with the Doom's Lord. But what I brought with me was my favorite cloak, much mended. And since the journey's completion, I think what people can see in my expression is a wary and watchful gaze. As I am a shepherd by trade, I am experienced at looking out for others. And so that is kind of how I see my role in the group. And along the way, something I received, my gift, is a whistle that can always be heard. That was taken from a prompt on the playbook. I don't know what that means because all whistles can always be heard unless they're broken. But maybe this one can be heard by the person I want to hear it, even if they're really far away, or even if I blow it underwater. I don't know. We'll figure that out. But that's me.
I'm Jason. I am playing Yom, the Haunted. I was hailed as a hero, but I have doubts about what I achieved. I've got I kind of finished. I finished out our whole big adventure with a gaze. Like I've got a hope-filled and headstrong gaze. I kick around with a guidebook of birds, and I have a great wide-brimmed hat that keeps me warm in cold weather and cool in hot weather. And that's about all I got on me.
All right. Paul, you want to go ahead and jump in next?
Sure. Yeah. So I'm playing Rob Boucher. I'm a volunteer. I was the first to volunteer in our town to go fight the Doomslord. I couldn't wait to get out of town, and now I can't wait to get back. All the things that I didn't like seem cozy and warm, and I can't wait to get back home. I've got a bird that speaks to me named Ella, and sometimes other people can't see it, and he tells me things that are both concerning sometimes and sometimes consoling. That's it for me.
Excuse me. I'm Cindy. I am playing Imelda Forrest. I joined up and taking my father's mud-caked, hobnailed boots, and I've got a calculating and curious gaze. I'm not much for being around people. I prefer the forest. But I'm kind of torn, I guess, between getting home and seeing my mother again. But I'm not sure if I want to stay in my forest dwelling or go back to our little village and stay. Other than that, I have a cape with a hood that my mother gave me, and those are like my two favorite possessions.
All right. So we've met our group of small folk who have played our unexpected role. And as we find you all for the first time in this particular part of the story, it is a blustery autumn day in the outskirts of the Sublime City where you all find yourselves. It has been a week since the epic battle between Sir Paligren, the last paladin, and the terrible tyrant, the Doomslord, Velmira, the Silhouette Queen, whose dreadful shadow has haunted the land, striking death out of every unoccupied corner. It seemed that no one could defeat her. And yet, it has happened. Hope has been restored. It has been a week almost as chaotic as the war, though certainly a much happier one. In the chaos, the new young prince has been crowned, Sir Paligren installed as the regent. There have been celebrations. There has been a much quieter funeral for Dylan. And now you have gathered at the breakfast table of this small inn as you prepare to leave. And sitting at the head of the table is not Sir Paligren the Golden, but just Gren in his disguise, through which you knew him originally. And he looks around at all of you as you are eating, and he says, "My friends, I cannot thank you enough. Can I not convince you to stay? There is much to be done, much to rebuild, and the winter is coming in quickly. You are more than welcome to stay here as my guests and return to your home in the spring." And who speaks first?
I think I will. Go ahead.
Paul, go ahead and tell us, as the camera finds you, so to speak, what is Rob? Where do you sit at the table? How do you appear to the camera?
I'm down the table, on the side, not facing Grin, and my mouth is like half full of sausage when he looks at me, and I go, I'd like to stay, but I think I left my kettle on back home, and I got to get back there. And I look down nervously and return to eating, just kind of shifting my eyes.
He looks over to you. I'm so sorry. My screen just went dead right at the wrong moment. To you, Amash, sensing that you were also about to speak.
I would have said similarly. You're all wonderful people, and I've enjoyed meeting you. The circumstances being what they are. Nonetheless, my flock back home, I need to check on them. I left them in the hands of someone I trusted, but it's been too long. I have to get home.
Yeah, and I will kind of. Oh, go ahead, Jason.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
So I'll look over in Rob's direction, but answer his question. I appreciate the offer, but there's far too many people here for me. I need to get back where there is room to breathe. Quiet and peace.
You're here, good Imelda. It's true. It is there are so many people here. And it's just time to be home. We've been away too long.
My friends, I cannot gainsay your hearts. I wish you the best in your journey. And truly, and Gren turns abruptly, and you notice what he has a moment later, which is that the bard who has been kind of warming up, it's still a little early for music, but there's a bard who's been warming up, strumming his harp in the corner. He has started singing about you. And he is singing off-key, declaiming really, from dark of dungeons, from annals of the past, from the lost order of autumn, a savior rose at last. A tear rose in his eye, a tear ripped in the sky, and Paligren the mighty did sally forth steadfast. And immediately somebody from the guy's like, Paligren, I saw him at the ceremony. He's not that big. Somebody was like, you're okay. You got it all wrong. He was sneaky. He wasn't steadfast. He was sneaky. And as the tavern is descending into a argument, as history is being written, Gren looks somewhere between amused and horrified. He pulls his hood a little further over his face and he says, I think that's my cue to leave. I wish you safe journeys, friends, and please keep your eyes peeled. The risk, the evil that is done is not so easily defeated by a simple sword thrust and light. It still strikes, as you all know. Take care of yourselves.
Well, Grin, just don't worry about the song. Remember, everybody's bigger than somebody.
That is true. Good day, my friends, and I do hope that we will meet again. And Gren winds his scarf around his head and swiftly exits before anybody notices who he is and who has joined you for breakfast. And that is sharing a meal. So we are actually going to start. It was Gren who was your host. So Gren is going. I'm actually going to roll on behalf of Gren and see if you guys can go ahead and take a boon here. Though let me ask, is while it is a moment of peace here, does anybody want to take, as Gren has left, as no one is really looking at you in the tavern, does anybody want to take a moment now to take this moment to name a burden as you are finishing your breakfast and preparing to leave? Rob already has, I believe. You can add that eventually to your sheet. You left the kettle on.
Yeah, I think I did actually. It's been worrying me for a while now.
Right. Well,
Yeah,
everybody else is thinking about it all.
I think I will. I'm just trying to figure out how to put it. I do wish to see my mother again, though I'm not sure how she will receive me. I just kind of say that kind of to myself, really, more than anything else. But others might have heard.
I think if I'm sitting next to Imelda, I won't say anything, but I'll just reach over and squeeze your shoulder.
My bird Elaz is whispering to me something, and I go, I don't know why your mom doesn't want to see her, but it's too rude. It's rude to ask, so shut up about it.
Nobody said anything, Rob.
No, I'm just talking to. Yeah, I just started eating sausage.
All right, so Gren, as your host, rolled an 8. So one person at the table in this conversation, and as you hear the bard and people arguing over what really happened and what the final battle really looked like, one of you may clear one of your burdens now, if you wish to do so.
Well, you brought your burden up first, Paul, so...
I'm
Rob.
not letting go of that burden. It's been keeping me going for the last
yeah. Well, you can argue that
now.
Yeah, and when we say clear, the fact that you are now heading for home could be considered clearing the burden.
Yes.
So you're finally relieving that anxiety that's been pulling you back towards home.
You know, Ella, you're right. I think I am gonna make it back in time before the house burns down. I feel some relief.
Yeah.
Also, Rob, you know, the stove must have run out of wood by now. So it's probably not even on fire anymore.
Oh.
If it ever
Maybe.
was. If it ever was, it probably
mean,
was.
Unless your house burned down with
I know.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
it.
All right. As you finish up your meal, you rise from the table. You have been outfitted with the necessary food, provisions, clothing. Gren has even scrounged up for you an old donkey and cart that he's managed to be able to spare. So who would like, as you are kind of pulling yourselves together, finally turning your faces and your feet back towards home, who wants to take the lead and chart the course?
Chart the course is a
It's a homeward bound move.
it is a keen roll. So maybe someone, if anyone has a 2 in keen, that might be the person to do it.
Mine are all +1s, so
-1 for Keen for me.
Yeah, who has that +2 in keen? I don't know.
Could be somebody.
Interested for the story of the journey.
I don't think any of you have the +2 in keen.
Oh no, someone does. Someone explicitly does.
It's you.
Yes, it's me.
Yes.
Oh yeah, it is you. There
Yeah.
you are. Reading. Fundamental. All right.
I'm pretty sure our village is here where it says your village.
That's right.
are you certain?
I'm
Y'all-
not good at maps, but that seems to be what it means.
So you know, all of you know, since you are retreading the ground that you have already walked, that you have 3 areas to travel through. You must cross the Great Inland Sea, which is long, wavy hills and of grass. You must cross, then strike northeast through the verdant valleys, which is this bright green area where deep and plentiful rivers make it possible for make for very, very fertile soil, as well as rivers teeming with fish and other bounty. And then lastly, you must cross through, there is a hidden pass that you know that you came down through the mountains, which your people call the teeth of the world. And that is down here, though, to the southerners, known as the Four Kings Throne.
Fair.
So, Jan,
So,
why don't you go ahead and
Yeah.
chart the course for the
I'm gonna
first
chart a
quarter?
course. And so, doing this, I am going to tell a story of the journey, and then roll plus keen. And the story of the journey, I'm calling to mind. I've actually gotten really frustrated with Imelda over the course of this journey, because she has just been like, we settle down for camp and she is just always on our butts about getting stuff together, making sure provisions are up and out of the way of wildlife, and making sure we're not pooping where we're in our drinking water, all that kind of, and she's always on our butts about it. But as we head out, I kind of come to realize I think I'm actually gonna miss that. I'm gonna miss having someone looking out for me like that. And oh, cool. Well, that's a 7. So we
Plus
find our
2
way
for
forward.
Keen?
Pardon?
Is that a 7 including your +2 for Keen?
Yes.
Okay, well, at least you hit.
Yes.
All right.
Ooh, how is this land different than I remember?
All right. So as you are, Yum, have you taken quite literally the reins of the cart, or are you navigating from the passenger seat here?
Oh, I figure I'm navigating from the passenger seat. I figure Imelda's like driving the cart.
Okay.
Like she's the competent one for that sort of thing.
All right. Yum, you are fairly confident that you remember this part of the journey very, very well, and that you can find your way out. But everything looks very different in the light of day. When you passed this way the first time, always you were looking for shadows. That's what everybody did. Look for shadows, avoid the shadows, stay to the light. And now, with that burden lifted from you, you are seeing things that you had not noticed before. You are seeing the wreckage of houses, of farms, of carts, and of makeshift graves as you are leaving the city. And you are fighting against the traffic. People are flooding towards the city. Many of them clearly refugees carrying their possessions on their back, hoping for food, for shelter, for something to survive the cold winter that is coming. And as you are making your way, there are looks being directed your way. Calculating looks, thoughtful looks, hungry looks at that skinny but still hale donkey and that cart with 2 working wheels. And you are, as you are making your way through the last edges of this crowd, as the crowd is beginning to thin, you notice that behind you there are 3 tall folk who have peeled away from the crowd, rough looking fellas, and they've turned around and they've started following you at a bit of a distance.
Ooh.
On foot.
That's less than ideal.
How many?
3. So this is going to be negotiating an obstacle.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Or you can also choose to gaze into the distance to try to get more information about the situation.
What were you saying, Steve?
I was about to say I'd like to negotiate an obstacle on this because this feels to me very much like an obstacle.
Yeah.
I think what I'd like to do, if we're just exiting the city,
I'd say you're probably about an hour outside of the city where the crowds have subsided, where now you're just seeing the occasional traveler. A pretty steady pace of foot traffic where you're in view of other people still, but it's not a crowd around you by any means.
Okay, what I'd like to do if we're still kind of around civilization is look for the next place where there is a stable, pull in like we need something for one of the horses, and just kind of wait and see if these guys move on.
Okay. Go ahead and roll for it.
That's a 9.
Would you like to add swift, keen, or true? Because honestly, anyone could work in this situation. Swift if you are looking to move fast.
I'm adding
Keen if you are... Oh,
I'm
go
adding.
ahead.
Sorry, I'm adding true. It's already included in the roll. It's 9.
Oh, okay, very good. All right. Then can you tell me why you picked true?
Well, really, because I only glanced at the negotiate an obstacle and I thought that I had to use true. But sure, I'll justify it. I think it is true to myself and my nature to want to guide my flock, as it were, out of the sight of the wolves. And the easiest way is to just make it difficult for the wolves to get them. So I've gone to where there are people, where they can't sneak up on us in secret, and we're just going to wait.
All right.
Can I-
Well,
Sorry.
if you want to, 9 is a pretty decent roll. It's still a hit, so you're going to face a tricky choice or a price to pay.
Mhm.
But Cindy, if you were going to ask if you can help, there is an option called pull together, where if 2 members of the fellowship want to step in, you can, by taking on an unnamed burden, you can give Steve a reroll of one of his dice.
My lower die was a 3. So, statistically, take that into account.
Yeah.
Sure.
So this is not necessarily a disaster, but it's not a bad thing if you guys all want to, if 2 of you want to re-roll this.
I'll do that.
Yeah, someone will have to do it with you, though.
Yeah. Is there somebody else who feels like doing that?
Yes, I will. I'm going to send Ella off to investigate the 3 strangers and see if that provides some assistance. So I will also put together here.
Okay. And Imelda, how do you help in this moment?
Okay, so we do it by naming a burden.
No, at this moment, you are going to say how you are going to help, and you're going to take an unnamed burden. So you're adding basically an open spot that you will need to fill later.
Oh, okay. All right. Can I do that with a move? Or
You're doing a
You can create whatever you'd like
I'm
to do.
doing a move?
Yeah.
You don't.
Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah, this is. You are taking the move right now.
Okay, okay.
You're
My
doing
bad.
something to help. So, and that can be whatever you think will help. Whatever you think will help Amash
Okay.
achieve.
So what I want to do then is as I look back at them, I want to gauge. I'm not sure how far back they are, but if I can see maybe the look on their faces, how they're holding themselves and walking, see if I can see any kind of weapons on them or anything that can be used as such. Of course, I know where my bow is, but and try to glean, are they really a danger, or are they perhaps just going the same direction?
Sounds good. All right, Steve, go ahead and re-roll that 3, and let's see if you do better.
Nope, same roll.
Ah. All right. So,
a burden for that? Sorry.
so what you do?
What do you mean, Rob?
I'm speaking
So
to
the
Ella.
roll-
Mind your own business.
The roll stands where you are going to have to make a tricky choice or pay a price.
Yes.
And so as you are, let me see. So, Imelda, you are driving the cart. So as Amash, what you see off in the distance, there are no, there's no businesses that have survived out here, but you do see an encampment coming up ahead of a group of carts that have pulled themselves into a circle. It looks, you recognize, they seem to be guarded by individuals who are troops. They look like they had, makeshift, these are part of the makeshift army that arose to oppose the Silhouette Queen. And in this encampment, you can see women and children, but they are clearly guarding their resources. And they see you coming, and they are looking at you very warily. But Rob, as your bird circles, I'll jump to Imelda. Imelda, as you take a look back, you, with your curious and cautious gaze, you do see underneath the clothes, you see the flash of steel at one man's waist, and Rob's bird, as it's he, as it circles overhead, Bots comes back to you, singing a song of hunger and of predators.
Yes,
And
I'm hungry too, Ella. Of predators. Okay.
And so as you steer your way, as Amash puts his hand on your shoulder, Imelda, and points you towards this encampment, they settle themselves, and a couple of the guards step forward into your path. Not threatening, but you see them look past over the shoulder and spot, these three ruffians coming up behind you. And one of them says, "Halt. What is it that you want?"
We are travelers returning from the Broken Lands. The gentlemen behind us on the road are making us a little nervous, and we thought perhaps we would just wait a while and see if they pass. There's your true. I just told the truth.
Well,
I could have
the two
bullshitted that,
guards,
but I'm too shepherdy.
the two guards exchange a look. And they look at each other, and they look over your cart and yourselves, your full packs, your healthy mount, your well-maintained cart. It says, "Look, we can give you we can scare them off for you, but we have women and children here to feed. What's in it for us? Are you willing to be generous in return? Or do you want to take your chances with them?"
What do you think, guys? We have a loaf or two of bread, right?
I think we could
Oh, yeah.
probably share some.
Yeah, I
We do have a long journey, but we can definitely.
Why don't I offer them? So can we do we have a moment to take an aside to discuss this plan, or is this all in open conversation with the?
There's really not. If you want to huddle, they're not going to stop you. The three men who have been following you have stopped, and they're not waiting to see if you are going to be admitted into this circle of safety. They don't want to take on,
So I come out and I go, "Here,
cards.
sirs, accept this gift of my trained parrot, Alain. And he has an eye for gold, and he will bring gold to you. If somebody finds the gold later on, you just blame it on a stupid bird." And I'm giving him Alan, knowing that Alan's going to return to me no matter what.
The man laughs. Says, "Sir, we have no need of another mouth to feed, and we have at this moment no need for gold. Food.
I
stops
will
us
I will hold
with
out 2 loaves of bread from our supplies.
Welcome and well met, my friends. Nathaniel, add this to the supplies. Please, be welcome." And they stand aside, and you are granted entry into this camp.
Thank you very much.
Rob, did it ever occur to you that if Elaine went and took their gold and then returned to us, that they know what road we went down and they could just follow us?
Right.
But I'm quite swift, so I think we could outrun them.
With the cart and everything?
Donkey's not going to be necessarily cooperative.
Well, I'm not that keen, so no, it didn't occur to me.
Okay, Rob.
Okay.
Just remember, it's best not to rip off armed men, especially when you're in the process of asking them for help.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense now.
Remember, everyone we meet is twice as tall as us.
Correct.
Right. I did want to huddle, but then I thought it wasn't going to work. So I just, I volunteered my services as I
Hey,
tend to do. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. If they had taken the parrot, that would have been between you and them. I probably still would have offered them the bread.
All right. That gift of fresh bread from the city bakeries has more than greased the wheels. You are warmly welcomed, and they are happy to let you let you wait out. You can easily see through the carts that your pursuers, after slinking around for a little bit, eventually do peel off. And about another hour has passed. The campers are happy to welcome you, to invite you to sit, to join them. They are eager for news from the city. You find out that this is a group from the outskirts, and they are also making their way down towards the city. So they are going in the opposite direction as you. But they're eager to hear your tales of, you were at all the ceremonies this week. You were at the crowning, the investiture, the funeral. Is there any story that you take this moment to tell? Any, Paul and Cindy, you have both taken an unnamed burden. Do you want to take this moment as you are telling a story to name those burdens? Or anybody else?
Cindy, do you want to go ahead? I don't want to put you on the spot, but talking lots.
The burden need to tie into the story of what we witnessed?
Not necessarily. It can be something that, what they want to talk to you about is what you have seen. And none of them, it's obvious, think you have anything to do with the triumph. They do not see you.
Figures.
It hasn't occurred to anyone that you had anything to do with Sir Paligren, the last paladin. They just want to know what you have seen. So as you are telling any story that you tell of what has happened in the city since the fall of the Silhouette Queen and how you came to be in the city, what stirs in you?
I think I need to think a moment. So if you have something
Okay.
ready.
I'll go ahead. Thinking about all that happened in the last few days, I was there. I was there when Sir Paligren was fighting, and it was insanity. There was people everywhere, and I mostly was just trying to not get killed. But then one of the enemy's troops tripped on a root and fell before me, and as he was about to hit the ground, he tried to swing at me with his sword, and then he dropped it, and all of a sudden I was there with my knife, and I was about to plunge down my knife, and he said, "Please, I have a kid," and I did it anyway. I was so scared, and I left home, my parents' only kid, and it just seemed so sad, even though he was about to kill me.
And do you tell that story? You tell the story of that chaotic battle and omit that you were there? Do you tell that part of it to this group of kids that is gathered around, most of them already taller than you, all of them skinny and hungry, but still somehow with hope and light in their eyes, as they're looking to you for tales of adventure and triumph of good over evil?
Oh, I thought I was trying to relieve my burdens here.
No, you were, yeah.
But
you're needing
guy,
to
and I felt good about it, and he was bad, and so I wiped one tear, and it's like I don't know what I was thinking.
If that is, if that's the story, that if the kids have wandered off in a different direction and the adults are crowding around you, and that's the story that you wind up telling, that is.
No, I'm just not that keen. I started telling these little kids, and then I horrified them.
I didn't realize they were kids either, so.
I'm sorry, I don't know what it did.
No,
I screwed up again.
No, I sprung that on you. So by all means, if you can feel free to override me on that one.
No. I think this works great. I accidentally told the kids my horrific tale.
And as you do, you see, because you're not. It's to them. This is a time full of heroic deeds. This is a time where they have grown up on stories, and they weren't there. You can see that there's a lot of wide eyes and but they weren't there. They have the innocence of children, where you're telling them this story and you can see that they don't really get it. And that is a wonderful thing, because they have not, to them, death is still something that is theoretical. And it's a sad and distant thing, because you're realizing that to you, it's not. And so you have named your burden. And so, Cindy, if you are not ready, if this isn't the right time, you absolutely do not have to do anything. You can, as you are taking shelter, and this coldness takes you, of even with the Shadow Queen defeated, just the petty evils that people are still capable of.
Yeah, well, it depends. If there's still children there, I think not. If it's morphed into adults, then I probably could. Because I think I wouldn't share some of these with kids. Would know better.
Well, let me ask, is there anybody else who, because it has been about an hour, does anybody else want to share anything? Does anybody else want to do anything with this group? Because they're happy to let you stay with them until they pick up and move camp again, but they are going to be moving closer to the city in another few hours. Do you want to stay? Do you want to tell another tale? Or are you ready to move on?
Let me ask my companions a question. Raise your hand if you have a named burden that is not cleared written down right now. Well, we all do, right? Because we started.
Everybody should.
Yeah.
Only Rob has cleared one of his burdens.
Okay. I have a rally the flock move, but I'm not going to take it right now because I have to think up a relevant parable.
Okay. Last call before we go ahead and move on.
I think I thought of something that would be good for this. That'll work. I remember also being in the battle, and there were monsters too, right? Not just people.
Yes.
Okay.
The dread
creature-
hunters of the silhouette
Yeah.
plane.
Okay. These
Monsters.
creatures were coming towards us, and I'm a hunter. I hunt a lot, but I found I couldn't even shoot my bow. I could barely hold it steady. And until one of my companions, I think it was Amash, made the first move, I was frozen, scared. I couldn't even move. I still don't really understand why. You can't imagine these creatures. I'm not sure I could even describe them.
All right. And so the burden you name is the moment where you froze in the face of these unnatural, magical beasts.
Yeah.
And the hunter became the hunted.
Yeah.
All right. As the camp breaks, you are wished a fond farewell and best of luck on your journey. And you strike north once again into the heart of the inland sea. Who would like to chart a course?
Well,
We maybe should stick with the same person, or
yeah. We have someone who's mathematically predisposed to do better than the rest of us.
exactly.
All right.
Me.
You all pass the map to Yam once again.
I can't read this, man.
It's
Sorry,
Far better than maps.
is it Yom or Yom?
Yom.
Yom.
Yom. Beg your pardon. Yom. And is it Amash or Amish?
I said Amish, but I like Amash better now that you've said it.
Amash. That's Cindy. All right. Proceed. Yom.
All right. So, I mean, this would have been maybe a month or two, maybe a month back. We had escaped the Doomslord's whole compound. We had Dylan with us, and we were making our way back to, I guess, the Sublime City and quote unquote civilization. And it occurred to me, I realized that the Lantern Lighting Festival, which is my favorite festival, it's my favorite time of year. It was still a few months off, but there was no way we were making it back in time for that. We were still deep in enemy territory, evading patrols, trying to keep our hope up. And yeah, I realized I wasn't going to get to do something that I had been doing for, years. and I'm going to take that 10.
All right. That is a success. You
Right.
come upon any obstacles from a position of strength and confidence. All right. As you strike forth into the inland sea,
So,
yes, go ahead.
GM,
Yes.
I'm curious. This inland sea, like it's a former sea. It's like a vaguely plainish basin.
Why don't you? Are you gazing into the distance and asking me?
I mean, technically, I'm just asking, but
What do you remember learning about this place or this people? Yes. I'm going to say yes, Yom. As you are striking forward across the great inland sea, what you heard from most people as you traveled is that it's called that because the long prairie grass that grows thick and has roots deep into the soil, deeper than any of you stand tall, looks like ocean waves rippling as far as the eye can see.
ooh,
But you, Yom, did hear from somebody as you traveled, perhaps even from Dylan, that this was, in fact, once all a great ocean. This is the part of the continent that is pinched the most together. And once all was underwater except the Four Kings Throne mountain range, and slowly it dried, and when it dried it left. First it was a great sea, then a great lake, and then just acres and acres and acres of free and open land, dotted only with the occasional outpost tower. And as you are thinking about this, you actually spot off in the distance one of these ancient towers, and you see that you are coming up towards it along the road at an angle that they probably, the top of the tower has been destroyed, so it's all the lookouts are gone. But you can see from quite a far distance that there is a clear plume of campfire smoke rising from this ancient watchtower. Somebody is down there in the valley, in the ruins of this tower. And you can decide if you want to try to take the donkey and the cart off the road and circle the long way around, or if you want to go up and see who it is.
Well, first I will pass that I will share that information with our fellowship, that there is definitely there's someone with a lit campfire down there, and I pointed out. So what do y'all think? Should we try and take a longer route around, or should we just confront whoever it is? Maybe they're friendly, maybe they're just folk.
In my experience, most people are friendly, but also most people are bigger than us. And we did earlier stand by and wait while people we thought might be dangerous crept past us.
So, Sarah, did they just kept going past, or did they go back?
They went back.
Oh, I misunderstood. I thought they passed us on the road when we stopped to wait.
No, they were headed towards the city. They turned around and started following you. But after they saw you fall in with this larger group, after they realized you weren't coming back out again anytime soon, they gave up and turned back towards the city, towards easier pickings.
In that case, scratch that last objection. But I do think we are. We don't need to be unfriendly on purpose, but it also might. We're easy pickings for bandits and so forth.
In an attempt to, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
We just have the ability to speak at the same time. Can we tell about how far that tower is? Is it, miles or yards?
I'm
assuming it's far enough that we've got the drop on them and not vice versa.
Well, at the moment. Because
Yeah.
I haven't thought, but...
Most likely you are probably somewhere between, I'd say probably about 3/4 of a mile away, where you can just see down to them, because you are basically at a rise in the road where you have just crested it, and you are pretty confident that unless they happen to be looking directly at you, you are all but invisible against the horizon, whereas they are down in a valley, and because the top of the watchtower is gone, that you actually have the higher ground in this case. I will also say there are other options to gaze into the distance. If you want to try to learn more about the situation, you can, that's probably or you can start negotiating it as an obstacle.
Yeah, I might want to do that. And I was going to suggest to the group that I might want that maybe I kind of stealth kind of a little bit closer in the grass and see if I can get a better look at them.
Yeah.
But I don't want it to take too much of our time.
Yes. I will add as well, if it wasn't clear, this is a different day. You have been traveling for some days now, so you are quite well away from civilization at this point, well into the inland sea. So Cindy, if you are stealthing down, do you want to take one of the gaze into the distance actions, such as asking, what am I overlooking? What do I remember about this place? Or how can I make peace here?
I think it would be, what am I overlooking? Because I want to find out more, right?
Right.
And is this a 2 dice or a 3 dice roll? I can't remember.
Actually, I don't believe this
2d6.
is
2d6 plus
2d.
4.
Okay. Remember reading it, and then it was pew.
I don't think this is a roll at all. I think this is an automatic.
Oh, yeah, no. Gaze into the distance is not. It's when you gaze into the distance, you search your environment or memories for answers. First, describe what fragment of loveliness in the landscape has caught your eye, then ask one.
Well, I see.
Yes.
Okay.
So you can ask me. Yep, you can ask. You give kind of a bit of set the scene a bit by describing what you are looking at, and then ask me one of those questions.
As I look at the tower, and then I kind of pull my gaze back a little bit and look at the broader scene, and see this sea of grass, and really look at it more closely for the first time. I think maybe I was preoccupied with thoughts coming through the other direction, and almost kind of get mesmerized by it there for just a moment in time, just watching it kind of just wave, and I get kind of taken aback by it, and just this that feeling of looking at something so beautiful in nature that is kind of simple but not at the same time.
So you're looking down at this tower and the billowing waves of grass through the ruins. As you do, Imelda, there's a part of you that sees this beauty and sees the complexity underneath it. You see the history, the bones, the places, the tracks, the places that animals walk, and that that winds and floods shape the land. And then and what is the question that you asked me? I'm so sorry.
What am I overlooking?
What am I overlooking?
So, like, what?
So,
yeah.
as you are looking, you realize suddenly that those tracks are pretty fresh, and there's a lot of them. And as you squint and you look closer, you realize that what you took as imperfections in the land, or stones, or beaten down grass, is sheep. It's a flock of long-haired, hardy sheep, the kind that grazes here, this kind that this area is known for. And they have been gathered and have been hobbled here in the shade of this tower. And you realize that you are looking at a herd.
Okay.
A very professionally managed one.
Yeah. I will share all of that with the group. So perhaps after sharing that, these folk, whoever they are, might not be as dangerous as we once thought. We might be able to pass them unmolested. Unless they're overprotective of their sheep, that is.
Well, as long as we stay near the road, I think we're probably fine. People who have flocks are rarely the same people who are robbers. But also, I don't see any need to go down and say hi.
The road, if you continue to follow the road, it will take you probably about within 100 yards of the tower. It will definitely be noticeable and visible to anybody that's there. You all know all too well, unfortunately, within arrow range.
Sure.
But there is no... But yes, there's... unless somebody starts shooting, you will be able to pass. You would pass by without having to confront.
What time of day is it?
You. It is getting on towards evening. The sky is darkening very quickly. You probably still have a good half hour of daylight, maybe an hour if you push it. You've gotten quite good at setting up camp at this.
And would it still be light when we're passing that tower, or would it be dusky and dark? It will be, okay.
Yes. Yeah, they're not that far away. You can, and especially because you're at the downward angle, you can clear them and make it to the edge of the next valley within that hour and be out of sight of them.
Maybe we camp here for the night so they don't see us, and then we wake up and go past them in the morning.
Mm-hmm. What is the earliest a shepherd normally wakes up?
Before dawn. I mean, they're going to see us in the morning, but at least we won't be running from them in the dark. If they decide,
if we must.
Yeah.
We could also make a white flag of, hey, we're just passing by. White flag, don't shoot us.
White flag means surrender. If they're bad people, we don't want to do that. Because they might just kill us, take all our stuff, whatever.
Color then.
Yeah.
Does anyone else hungry for mutton? Because
no.
How many? No.
No. Not.
I don't.
Stop right.
I don't care for mutton.
Rob, we'll eat from our cars.
Because there's plenty out here.
We'll
Yeah.
eat from our car.
Yes, it's not ours.
You are running low on supplies. You took quite a hit with the
bread.
with that
You're
eating.
giving
Yeah,
away loaves of bread.
yeah.
Amash.
Well,
You have
we're
enough,
alive.
but you're not eating generously. You've
We're-
definitely.
It's time for second
eaten less.
dinner. And
Okay.
second dinner.
Everyone who wants to steal a sheep and eat it, raise your hand.
Me
Huh?
and the lab raise our hands.
You're still outvoted. I can almost
We should
hunt if need be. I will not hunt sheep owned by someone else.
What was that, Yon?
I think we could approach them friendly like, and perhaps they would share a meal with us.
Yes. I'm hungry.
You know, Yom is right. Maybe we do not need to be so skittish all the time just because we are small folk.
How would you like to proceed? Who would like to negotiate an obstacle? Whether that is to make camp here at or perhaps just a little behind the edge of the ridge, remain out of sight, have a cold one, because it's lighting a fire will of course give away your position, or to head down into the valley and attempt to negotiate with these herd people.
I think at the end of the day, if everyone's cool with this, I think Yom's suggestion makes the most sense because we're not going to get past these people without them seeing us. And we may as well just
Right.
go say hi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will roll that with true.
Okay.
Now, rolling up, knocking on the door. I'm not going to roll anything else tonight. That's an 8 total.
An 8. Okay. All right. So let's see. So that's going to be, of course, a tricky choice or a price to pay. So after some conversation that has taken you into the twilight hour, you decide, let's just give it a shot. And you go ahead and you roll down the hill towards this encampment. And you see, as soon as you start getting closer, as soon as you can hear the low of the sheep, you hear a sudden, you hear voices, and then you hear a sudden cessation of voices, and you know that you have been spotted. No one is visible. No one is in sight as you approach the tower. And as you are, what do you say as you approach?
Hello, the tower. We are travelers on the road here. We will be making camp soon. We wanted not to sneak by like ruffians in the night, but to say hello and let you know we are in your lands. Also, if perhaps you have any food, we have a long journey ahead of us, and though we have rations, they are tight. We would not mind sharing a meal with you.
You hear a voice inside, "Mommy, they're all kids!" Like, shh! And a whole chorus of shh goes through inside the tower. But before anything else, before any other words are exchanged, and it doesn't seem that they are very talkative, whomever they are, you hear, actually, who has the highest keen rating? It's Yom, right?
Yep.
Yom, the hair on the back of your neck prickles, and you know, Amush, so does yours. Amash, so does yours. As you being this close to a flock, your instinct for danger, and a moment later, you hear a very distant.
The Google
And
Meets
you
is
realize-
silencing that. Is it? Are you doing a bird call?
Yes, I am doing a bird call that
Okay.
apparently.
It's hearing it as white noise, I guess. It's turning it
Yeah.
right off.
I
it-
understood it was a bird call.
Yeah.
It's a very, for those of you at home, it was a very impressive bird call.
So realistic.
Exactly nailed the sound that a giant crow makes, and in the twilight, you see overhead that one of the great crows, Hungry, is circling straight towards you. What do you do?
Um,
And I will say as well that when I say great crow, we are talking about the size of
Yeah,
yes, this is
we've read the books.
easily as tall as, but for those following along at home, this is a giant sized bird. It is the size of a small sedan, plus not including wingspan, and it is coming towards you fast.
okay. Crossbow, action surge, step of the wind.
This isn't that kind of game.
Dang it.
Run! Run!
Yeah. Someone else.
I hide.
I run. I make a break for the make a break for the tower and start
I would like to
pounding
use
on
my
the door. Help!
bow on that crow. So I'm trying to find what
Oh.
Your
What,
move?
you want to make a desperate stand?
yeah, okay. Desperate stand is what I'm looking for.
Let me see. Your peril moves are run, hide, or make a desperate stand. That is actually only good against the hunters, because making a desperate stand will use up one of your two. You only have 2 doom stories right now. If you use one up now, that means that you are going to not have it to use later if something else
So-
goes wrong.
Oh,
Less
okay.
jokingly, Cindy, this isn't that kind of game.
I see.
So your options are run, hide, or if you want to try to, I will allow negotiate an obstacle. If you have a different, if you have a different idea how you want to tackle this situation.
No, for now I will just I'll grab my bow, but I'll hide under the cart.
And I'm gonna run.
Okay.
So I kind of figured we were close enough to this ruined tower that Yom could try hiding amongst the ruins.
Yes. So Rob has run for the door and is pounding on it, asking for entry. Imelda is under the cart. Yom is looking for a hiding place amongst the ruins. And Amash, where are you running to?
So I'm a little confused because I was at the door. I was addressing the people in the tower. So why would other people now be running to the door if that's where the bird is attacking?
I thought you were calling
Well,
up
it's
into
not
the tower. I
attacking
didn't
towards the
realize
door
you-
yet. It's circling, and it's looking at you, but it's looking at all those sheep.
Okay, I thought it was coming right for me because I was yelling.
Nope, it is not coming right. It is circling high overhead. It has not selected its target yet.
Right?
All right. Well, then in that case, I'll change my move from run to hide
Okay.
because I thought it already had me in its sights.
And you will hear as you all scatter, and this crow makes its is getting closer and closer. The door slams open. Rob, you half fall inside, and you fall at the feet of two of the Urds people of the Inland Sea. They are both tall folk, of course, and pretty tall folk. They do grow tall in the Inland Sea, they say, to see over the grass. And they are both strapping on weapons and picking up staves. And one of them says, "We've got to save the sheep. Help us, and you can stay." And they are moving out. And one of them is, you can see up at the top of the tower, the smaller kids are popping out, and they are starting to whirl their slingshots. And the adults, the two are running down towards the pasture, and they are starting to get the sheep moving, and they're trying to get them into the tower. But it is a narrow door, and the other one of them is trying to urge the sheep up. The other one is waving their stave in the air, trying to shout off the bird and scare it away, hoping that it will go for an easier target. The door is open, and right now all the adults are, and all the kids for that matter, are clearly more concerned about the crow than they are about you. What do you guys want to do?
I want to say hello, Chronocom Entertainment. Thank you for the raid.
Hey, welcome.
So, are you giving us this new information that they've come out and are asking for our help? Is that taking place before the roles we all just declared, or after?
This is going to take place after.
Okay, in that case, I have already failed to hide. I got a 5 on it.
So the crow is already looking towards you. Who else rolled?
Oh yeah, failed to hide. Very failed.
I got a 7 on hide, so GM chooses one.
I choose. All right. When you run to hide, Imelda, somebody is already there. When you get there, you find that there is a mother. You went under the cart?
Yeah.
Right?
That was my aim. Yeah.
You find that some of the sharper sheep, if such a thing can be said to exist, a intelligent sheep, have already started to panic and to bolt, and they are pushing under the cart as and are pushing you out. So you are either going to be squished or you're going to be pushed back out. And Rob, did you successfully run?
No, so I got a 9, which says I've taken care of the person I prioritized, which is myself, and left everybody in the lurch. And that sounds about right for his Rob's reaction. Although now that I see the kids mobilizing and the humans, I'm struck by this deep shame, and I'm wishing I hadn't done that, but I did.
In this moment, you look back and you realize all of your friends are exposed. You see that none of them have gotten undercover. You see that everybody else is dealing with the issue, and you alone chose to save your own. Well, not you alone, but in that moment, it feels like you alone.
Yeah, right.
You chose to save your own hide, and you are now the only person who is in a place of safety. So I will ask everybody else to go ahead and roll a second time for what you would like to do next. If you want to, and I will say run is the option. if you want to run down and help the herdspeople get their sheep, as many of them as possible, moving into the tower away from this giant crow. Hide is the option to take yourself or to stay yourself into the tower and basically get there and find a place of safety. Everybody can go ahead and make a second roll.
I'm struck by my shame and seeing people mobilize. I'm gonna try and run if I can.
Okay. Yes.
To do this. Okay.
Me too.
I get a 11.
Oh, fabulous. Who? Other rolls?
I also ran and failed.
Okay.
I got a 4.
And
Yeah, Yom
Oh,
is gonna try and take heart and run to help, and it's gonna do real bad because this is what I am not good at. And by real bad, I mean I got a 10.
hey, very nice. And Cindy, what did you roll?
Okay. I'm kind of torn because I'm a little worried about the donkey, but I'm gonna run and help. No, I'm not. I'm gonna roll a. What do I add to Swift? I roll a full 5.
5. Okay, so we have two perfect. We have 2 full successes for Yom and for Rob, and we have 2 failures, 2 misses for Amash and Imelda. So you guys can, for our 2 failures, you both fail to achieve what you attempt to do. You both get out there, you're trying to get the sheep moving, trying to help, trying to offer your assistance. But Amash, even for an experienced shepherd like you, like these are big people's sheep. They are bigger than you. They are inland sea sheep, so they are almost closer to goats than sheep. And you are both easily just knocked over, overwhelmed, in the way. For Yom and for Rob, I'm going to let each of you describe what you do, because when you run, both of you are able to escape with your ward, with the person that you are prioritizing, or the thing you are prioritizing, and any companions near you. So 2 successes of 10 plus is enough to get your companions to safety, as well as any number of other animals, other humans in this room. So both of you guys go ahead and describe what you do on these successes.
I'm first, struck by this. I'm haunted by this, memory of the dying man, and that he said he had a child, and so I can't handle. That's what made me turn around after I felt so ashamed. So I go out and make sure that the children are fine, and then I see Amash having like failed at his running away, and I see a way to get him back as well.
And so you run out the door, manage to grab a hold of your friend, and pull him into safety.
Oh yeah. So can I do that and the children, or just one or the other?
Which one do you want? Because the kids are fine. They're inside.
Okay.
They're at the top.
They're inside with their right.
Yeah, they're undercover. Like once you're in the tower, the top of it's been knocked down, but it's still covered. They are in the windows and the scaffolding, so they're able to duck down.
I just don't understand children, I guess, and their ways. So Amash, come on, make it back.
Okay, all right, I'm coming. Hey, thanks, Rob.
It's for the kids.
Yeah, for the kids.
For the kids.
I And Amash looks towards the baby sheep, like, yeah, the kids.
The,
They brought back with
Yeah,
him.
bro. Oh.
these sheep are big. The crows are it's big. Everything's big here.
All right. And Yom, what do you do with your roll of 10?
Yom is going to well, when Yom said run, apparently what Yom meant was he is going to run to distract, like he's gonna get the attention of this big bird, and he's gonna lead it away. Or wait, no, the adults were coming out with slings and stuff, right?
Yes.
He's gonna lead it into the path of their slings and stuff.
Yep.
So it's an easy target for them.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Yom's going to do.
I love it. As Imelda scrambles to get out from under these sheep, as Rob helps Amash to safety, Yom shouting and yelling at this crow, you lure it away from the herds. I don't know why I keep saying it without the H. You lure it away from the herd and up towards this bank of arrow notches and slots where you see that the kids are waiting. And sure enough, the crow does turn and start its dive towards you. And just as you're thinking, oh, this was a bad idea, suddenly a volley, sticks, arrows, even a couple of arrows, but mostly sticks, stones, come pelting out the window, just enough to knock it, this great crow, off of its course, and its claws gouge into the earth next to where you have thrown yourself to the side. The last of the sheep, all but a couple of thick hobbling animals, are inside, and the next thing you know, there's a hand on the back of your cloak hauling you bodily along, and the herdsperson is yelling, "Come on, you idiot!" And you are flung through the door, and all of you make it into the tower, and the two herdswomen slam the door shut, and you hear the crow shriek and spin, and a moment later you hear a sad bleat of a sheep cut off abruptly, and the beating of wings, and the crow has left with its one offering, and you are safe inside the tower with this group of inland sea herdspeople, and the taller one pulls down the scarf from her face and says, "Well, you may not be kids, but you're certainly crazy as a group of ruffians, and I don't know what you were thinking." And the other kid, one of the kids from up above, yells, "That was great! Did you see that?" And there are kids, and you can see there are 2 adults here and about half a dozen children. And you are warmly welcomed into this group, and that is where we can take our only break for the night, as you find yourselves at a moment of safety with unexpected allies.
Woo. All right.
All right, so it's 10:10 West Coast time. We'll be back in 10 minutes for the conclusion
Thank you, everyone. We'll see you then.
Back again from the Broken Land.
Not to just speak for everyone.
You did, though. Welcome back. We're here.
Welcome back. And we will jump right back into action. You are welcomed to the Herds People's Fire to join them. You've scared off the crow. It's taken its sacrifice of one injured animal, which nobody seems to miss terribly. Certainly, any loss is a loss, is a blow, but it could have been a lot worse. And you are welcomed to spend the night here. As you do you want to share a meal? Do you want to name a burden? What would you like to do at this point in this moment of safety with the shepherds who introduce themselves as Stella and Shauna, respectively? The kids seem to have no names. They're just loud and chaotic.
I'm ashamed. Rob is
go ahead.
ashamed, and so he's gonna go to sleep. He can't face his colleagues mostly because it was kind of like, it wasn't even cowardice, it was just instinct, that he tried to run, and so he's gonna go to sleep.
All
I
right.
think it's probably too loud and chaotic for Imelda, so she's probably gonna do the same.
Well, despite naming that chaotic loudness, Yom is going to find himself a nice quiet spot, and he's gonna think a bit about the whole journey that we've been on, and I would like to name one of my burdens. And I am having a little trouble with that because I am feeling like deeply uncreative garbage right now. There were lots of people who helped us out, like on our way from our home all the way to the Broken Lands. But at times it seems like there was an equal amount of folk who just didn't help, were actively unhelpful, were antagonistic towards us. Unlike these fine folks we're bedding up with tonight, wouldn't let us share space in their barn. They just did not want us around. And Yom kind of felt a lot like, they didn't want me around. And ultimately, I'm worried that despite the defeat of the Doomslord, are people really gonna change? Is this victory really gonna affect the world that much? And whilst Amash talks about what he's doing, I'm going to figure out what to actually call that.
I am also going to name a burden. And I am remembering how we defeated the Doomslord and we were on the road already, traveling away with Gren and with Dylan. And I remember how it was that I stopped to check in with the donkeys and make sure they were doing okay. and in so doing, put myself sort of in the back of the group. At which time I looked up just in time to see the Doomslord's shadow striking out at me, and we thought that he was dead. We thought he was gone, and this was apparently his last gasp. And I don't know that anyone else saw that it was heading for me when Dylan stepped in front of it. And so my burden is named It Should Have Been Me.
And I named my burden, Will the World Really Change?
All right. Shauna and Stella certainly understand the quiet mood over all of you. They keep the kids off, settle them down, and leave you all to your thoughts. You sleep safely through the night. And in the morning, you awake to the smell of good old-fashioned porridge being cooked in a pot over an open stove. A little bit of wild sage, a little bit of precious honey in the pot that you can smell throughout the tower. There's not much to go around, but clearly you are welcome. Does anybody want to take this opportunity to share a meal? Because this is an opportunity to offer something up towards the feast, to take a moment to describe what you cook, share a story of home, and clear some of these burdens before you move on.
Sure. I'm gonna do that. So I just without thinking about it, I kind of make my way into the kitchen because I'm pretty handy around a skillet, and I just start reaching into the people's stuff, and in addition to the porridge, I whip up this kind of frittata thing, and I have to explain what frittata is, and as I'm doing that, I recount to them a story about back home when my mom would always make this dish for me, and I was, it's been such a long time since I've seen her and my dad, and I worry about them. They asked me not to go, but I was the first one to volunteer. In any case, enjoy this frittata. It's called a frittata. It tastes like home.
Roll for it. Frittata.
Right.
The kids are all running around screaming,
no.
Frittata! Frittata!
So, which ability should I add to this?
True.
Yes, so you're gonna roll.
True. Okay, so
2d6 plus
the
3.
frittata. This wasn't my best frittata. I have to say.
What did you
I
get?
get a 7.
That's okay. That's
good.
okay. So Paul, what happens there is that on any hit, which this is, you just barely squeak it out here. Peace and fellowship reign at the table, and you, Paul, can clear one of your named burdens, either the original one that you carried as part of your playbook, which is your courage wavering at a key moment, or it can be the one that you have, the outstanding one, which is your memory of the moment that you killed an enemy soldier.
Yeah, I want to get rid of that one for sure. Whew. No, not worried about that anymore. Wow. This I maybe this frittata is too spicy for everybody, but man, the taste of home, it really puts my mind at rest.
All right. And now what can happen next is that one other person, while you have made this frittata, one other person in the party is going to also assist you, and they are going to be able to clear one of their named burdens. But somebody else in the party is noticeably quiet and is being troubled. So who would like to clear a burden?
I think I can do that. I do have a clarifying question, however.
Yes.
So I don't quite remember if I cleared the burden about my mother.
You did
or
not.
I started,
you...
just started speaking about that, right?
Yes.
It's not cleared. Okay. So I will...
So how do you help with the meal, and how does that lead you to sort of find resolution of that burden?
So yeah, I smell these smells, and I come in and offer my assistance. I'll set the table and remember saying, my mother used to make this meal every morning. Every morning we had this meal after my father died. We used to have sausages and other wonderful things for breakfast, but after he died, we just had this every morning. And I got to where I hated it. And it made me really contentious against her. And that's what made me really want to, not the porridge itself so much to leave home, but so many things. But having the porridge here now and seeing kids and everybody working together and things like this, and for whatever reason, the smell of the porridge hits me different this time, and it makes me actually miss her for the first time in some years. And I'm feeling myself actually really wanting to see her.
Very nice. And either Yam or Amash, one of you is noticeably quiet and troubled. Who is it, and what's on your mind?
I think that's Yom. Yom puts on a good face of being, hope-filled, headstrong, but he's got a lot of turmoil on the inside. And he is worrying. He's worrying about just a lot of little things. Like, is our food gonna hold out? How much more? Like, how many more dangers are we gonna have to put ourselves in front of before we can get home? Just be done with all this.
And as you are thinking these thoughts, your mood is not helped by Stella and Shauna, who, as the designated charter of the course for this group, you've asked them for their to share knowledge with them, and they, when they hear your planned route through the verdant valleys, they are both. You want to be careful with that, lad. It's not what it was. The enemy, she fell hard upon the verdant valleys. They were a hardy folk and hard to break, and terrible things have happened. You'll want to move swiftly as you can, and don't trust any voice you hear, especially if it's a voice of somebody who should not be there, whether they be at home or they be dead.
Oh,
And on that, yes, Amosh.
just said oh.
And on that note, you are you are welcome at the breakfast table. You are welcome to spend the night, but the welcome has expired. You can tell there is not much to go around here, and while they are grateful for your assistance, the time has come to move along. Who would like to chart the course? Will it be Yom again, or is somebody else going to step up?
Yeah, I'll chart the course again.
I want to chart the course. No, I shouldn't. I'm
Oh.
terrible at it. No, you go ahead, Yum.
Yeah, you
I
can
don't know
chart
what
the
I'm
next course, Rob.
Oh, great. I volunteer.
As soon as we see the village.
Yeah, as soon as we see the village, you can chart the
Yes.
course.
It's for the best. It's probably for the best.
Okay, so something I want to ask real quick, just for Sarah. Do I need to stick to the stories of the journey prompts that are in here, or can I
Nope.
break from those a bit?
You can absolutely break from those. They are prompts. They are not locked in. If you wish to, absolutely go for it. If you have a different idea,
All right.
as long as it's in the spirit of things, and I know it will be.
So, yeah, with those dark tidings of like trouble on our way into the verdant valleys, I'm thinking back to the actual defeat of the Doom Lord. We were all there for that, and we witnessed Gren and Dylan share their love for each other, and the light of that love was enough was what was needed to drive away the shadow of the shadow that was the Doom's Lord. And trying not to think too much about what happened to Dylan later. I'm trying to keep that light in my heart as we move forward.
Love it.
All right. Cool. That's a miss.
Oh boy. All right. You strike out, and sure enough, your path turns northeast, and all too soon you see exactly what the Hertz people warned you about. When last you came through the verdant valleys on your way southwards, they were green and lovely, though fear had taken root in the corners and in the great halls of the city. Now you see the land broken, and somehow it hurts even more. The Verdant Valleys is not too different than your own hometowns with the beautiful rivers and lakes. But the rich soil has turned rusty and red. The clear blue rivers teeming with fish have turned choked with thickly green weeds, plants, and the road is broken. Somebody has come through and broken the road over and over again, so that there is no easy, smooth path for you. It is constantly coaxing the donkey and the cart over long stretches of weeds, cracks that must be carefully navigated, and bridges that are broken. And eventually you do come to a ford where there is no easy crossing. It is neck deep water, befouled and filthy. Mushrooms, not the fun kind, not the healthy kind, but an unsettling shades of yellow and red springing up along the banks, smudging your boots and your cloaks with sludge as you look upon this neck-deep, filthy water that you're going to have to cross somehow. What would you like to do?
Like our neck deep.
Your neck deep, yes.
Okay.
Waist
We
deep
also-
for everybody else.
But we also
Well-
have the cart.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, so is our cart sized for us, or is it sized for tall folk?
It is a 2-wheel market cart, so it is sized for tall folk. For you guys, it's quite tall. But the question is, the donkey does not want to go into this water. You're going to have to try to, it's not going to go in unless it is led. You are not going to be able to, maybe 2, maybe if you're lucky 3, but at least 2 of you are going to have to go into that water to
I
pull the
volunteer.
donkey.
I'm going into the water. I'm at the back of the mind. I want to make up for this cowardly move I made back at the tower, and so I'm determined to take the lead here.
Let's
I
not be
will-
too hasty, though. Let's
I
have
will
a
also go in the water.
Okay. I will add
There
as
you go.
well, it's going to be harder to get the donkey through the water. There is the option, the 2 of you can ride in the cart and only get your hands wet, but at some point, you're not going to be able to get the donkey in the cart all the way. Right now, you can hold on to it.
Wait, what do you mean?
You can't get the donkey in the cart through the pass.
right.
At some point,
It's the
you're going to
mountain.
have to switch to going on foot.
Oh,
At this point,
okay.
it really makes more sense
At
to
this-
keep going.
Okay, so maybe we ought to just split the provisions among us. Release the donkey.
We can't take all the provisions without the donkey. Quite hungry.
I feel that we should keep the donkey as long as possible, at least until the mountains. Well, if possible, into
Yeah.
the mountains, because
We
we'll
eat the
be eating
donkey.
as we go. The provisions will get less, and then we will be able to carry them. Yeah, I think I would like to attempt to, with Rob, to get the donkey to cross the river here. If we can
All
find a
right.
shallower ford, great. Otherwise, this is good enough. Waist high to a small folk is not that bad.
I have to mention, I think Cindy's is probably the right idea, but Rob is not that keen, so he's determined to save the
Yeah.
No
All
worries.
right. Well, then let
So,
me have.
Sarah,
Yes.
before we get moving,
Yeah.
Yom is looking out over this problem looking at this problem we're having. And he starts to look out into the middle distance
Mhm.
and remembers what the verdant valleys used to look like. How, the water flowed like generally clear and like full of just life and fish, and the people, you could always find someone at one of the bends in the water fishing. There were the closer you got to like any of these settlements, you'd find children splashing around in the shallows, and just how homey and just pleasant this place used to be.
Mm-hmm.
And having gazed into that distance, what am I overlooking?
All right. As your friends are getting themselves ready to go, taking off shoes, boots, extra cloaks, tying everything up to get it as far out of the water's reach as possible, Yom, you turn an eye across this land and thinking, listening, and you do hear something. A very faint boom, 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 boom. And it takes you a moment to recognize this odd, asymmetrical, galloping pattern until you realize that you have heard this before. When the hunters of the Silhouette Queen were chasing you down, and you realize the hunters are near. And they are getting closer.
Uh-oh.
So, just to clarify before anyone says anything, the hunters are near and getting closer, coming from in front of us or behind us?
To the side. They are coming up the river that you
Okay.
are fording. So they are coming from the east and you are heading northeast.
Oh shit.
They are on a
the
collision path.
hunters are approaching.
Yes.
No,
What?
Yom is saying that
Oh.
Yes.
to everyone.
How can
I'm
you
gonna
tell?
do something.
Hunters are
I see the hunters.
approaching. We need to move.
They are not in eyesight yet. You have some time.
Oh,
I would.
Sorry.
Yeah, I think we could go with Plan A. Let's try and get the donkey across the river.
I'd like to finish up the packing by wrapping the rest of everything up in that one tarp that I have and the rope, and making that easily grabbable to just yank out at a moment's notice.
All right. Somebody take the lead, and we're going to have one person roll to negotiate an obstacle. And then if we want an
I am the one who works with animals professionally, so I'm going to choose different dice, and
there you
then
go.
I'll go ahead and roll to negotiate an obstacle with True by calling the donkey by its real name, Boris.
Oh, yeah. What was its name? Lowit?
Boris, obviously.
Boris. Excuse me.
That's an 8.
Okay. You successfully get this donkey moving, Amash. You whisper into its ear as the animal itself is getting nervous, feeling the presence of evil drawing closer. You get the donkey moving into the water, but halfway through, you and Rob have it by the bridle, are guiding it through, and then it sticks. It stops. And you can feel it. You can feel what's happened. The wheel of the cart has gotten stuck on something under the water. You can choose right now. Do you sacrifice some extra time to try to get it free? Or do you cut the donkey loose of the cart, grab that tarp bundle that Imelda has wrapped up, and make a run for it? With the donkey. You can take the donkey.
I vote for the second choice.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
We cut the rope, leave the cart, take the donkey. If we've got the food bundled up already, the donkey can still carry the provisions without the cart.
wait, where are the rashers? Are they in the bundle?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we got
yeah.
them, sure.
Oh, Oh,
Yes.
okay.
We wouldn't leave those, Rob. What kind of small folk do you think we are?
All right. You guys can go ahead and let me have one of you make, it seems like you are making a run. So let me have you roll. Let's have everybody roll a run
Okay.
and see if you can make it out of peril.
I got an 11 total.
Damn.
I didn't.
You are good at
9.
running.
I'm
9,
swift, yeah.
11, yep,
4.
4,
Well,
and a runaway dice.
you meet better than that. 9.
9. Okay, so we have 1 full success, 2 partial successes, and 1 miss. So again, everybody can name who they most want to keep safe on this roll. Because technically you have actually, you know what? We don't have to do that because technically you have succeeded. Because on Paul's 10 plus, you escape with the person you most prioritize and any companions near you. And on those 9s for Cindy and Jason, you escape with the person that you've prioritized. So you yourself and 1 companion are safe. So between those, the full success and the 2 partials, you have enough to cover. Amash stumbles coming out of the river, still trying to coax this donkey.
Yeah.
But the 3 of you are able, between all of you, to grab him, grab that donkey, and
just
get
pull.
the hell out of there.
That's my problem. I'm always prioritizing Boris.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's how,
And you.
that's how Dylan got killed.
Oh no. You get the hell out of there and you escape a hair's breadth ahead of the hunters. But you can hear them. You can hear them now as you continue to make your way through the Verdant Valley. They never quite come into sight, but the sound of their hoofbeats never quite leaves your ears. It fades, it comes back, but you feel like you can smell the evil and the poison getting closer as you draw faster and faster towards the hidden mountain path. On your way, does anybody, as you are making your way there, at any point, do you want to stop? Do you want to rest? Do you want to risk the rewards that come with sharing a meal, taking a quiet moment? Or do you push through hard and fast on this last leg, well, the second to last leg of your journey before you make it to the pass?
I think we should push through all the way
Fine.
until we get to these sideways trees.
Yes, the great sideways forest of the hidden mountain pass. Okay.
It's not marked.
Push on.
It is not marked.
These guys don't know they've lost. We need to
Yep.
we need to put some distance between them and us.
You know, as we are going, I would like to use one of my playbook moves,
Yes.
by which I mean my only playbook move. It's called Rally the Flock.
Oh yeah.
You see, the interesting thing about Boris is that we just need to figure out what he wants. There's the old adage that you can lead a small sheep to water, but you can't make it drink. But you know, you don't have to make it drink. You just have to make it thirsty. And that's what we need to do with Boris when we want him to do things like cross the river. That's why he went across the river. It wasn't us, really. It was the hunters. They came, and he got scared, and he didn't want to be on that side of the river anymore. But we need to think about things that way. So that's my parable. And I'm going to roll to see if I can clear some people's burdens. Finally, that's an 11.
Yeah.
Any two companions can clear a named burden, and the first companion to take heart and sally forth rolls with advantage.
All
Somebody
right. Who
call
would
it, I
like
guess.
to be relieved of a? Who would like to clear a burden? Who is inspired by that tale?
I don't have any
I'll
named
be
burdens
inspired
yet.
by that tale.
Absolutely. You have two burdens, Jason:
Ooh.
unfinished business and will the world really change?
I'm gonna cross out unfinished business.
All right.
Don't really know what that was about.
And you can roll with advantage since you were the first.
Yes. And is there a second person who would like to take this moment to clear a burden? Everybody has at least one.
Yeah.
Cindy, you have two. Steve, you have two. Rob, you have. Jason,
I've got two.
no.
I've got-
Paul, you have one remaining.
Yeah, but I don't think I have any named burdens. So
It's just the burden that you started your playbook with.
right. Oh, so is that's out in the open?
Yes.
Yeah.
My courage wavered at a key moment.
Yes.
Damn, everybody knew that.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
Well,
knew
this is
that.
naming the burden to yourself. Like, it doesn't necessarily.
Yeah, so
Naming it doesn't.
unnamed burdens are essentially things you don't want to think, like they're still there,
right.
but you don't want to think about them right now.
Yeah, but it's at this moment I thought nobody knew, but you all knew. And,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, so I'm gonna I definitely want to try and clear that burden. Yeah.
It's cleared then.
Jeez.
My brilliant parable has cleared your burden. You've somehow related my donkey watering parable to your situation.
Yeah. I love you guys. Man, thank you. So I just feel so good. I know we're gonna make it.
All right. I agree. Especially now that we have this river. You know, sometimes when guys like that try to cross a river, it fills up with water horses and they all die.
Really?
We can only hope.
Water horses die?
No, the bad guys.
Right. Yes. Right.
Now if you say
No,
that,
I've never heard about
Yeah.
that.
It's an old story.
the river gives
I mean,
a
I've heard of the
particularly.
water horses, but the hunters didn't die in that story. They just got swept away.
Oh, well. I don't know about that.
The water
They're gonna die.
bubbles and a particularly foul pop, and a horrid stink comes out of the river closest to you. Who would like to chart a course? To final chart a course. Well,
It was promised to
final chart a
Rob.
course to the mountain pass.
It was promised to Rob when we can see the village.
Correct.
Right, that's true. You shouldn't let me chart. I mean, I'm terrible. I'm good. I'm bad at it, but I want to do it.
Amish will
I can
never
do
do
this,
it.
guys.
Amish
Really?
will never do it because it's actually my first named burden is that I led my
Oh.
flock into a trap, which I'm assuming is you guys. So I'm never charting the course again.
All right. Go ahead then, Rob, and roll for us.
I'm gonna
and
do
add
it.
your team.
Well, Rob, before you roll,
I rolled already.
you need to tell us a story about the
Oh.
journey.
Yes.
Okay. The journey home.
The
Or the
journey.
journey.
So if you look
Yeah.
a few pages down, there's some prompts
Oh,
for
okay.
stories of the journey.
Okay,
They're
thank
also
you.
on the screen here.
Yeah, I can see them now.
Oh, okay.
So I see one that's okay. This is a recent memory, but I that tower that we visited with the children and the family, it was ultimately ruined, but such a happy place. I wonder what it would have been like in its glory. So many families could have lived there in safety under those golden fields, it really would have been a great place to make more frittatas. I feel so inspired by the thought of that place that even though I have a -1, I rolled a total of a 9 on my
Nice.
chart course.
All right. You guys are wet, slimy, exhausted as you are pushing ahead of these hoofbeats. But Rob steps forward. The closer you get to home, it's like your nose is leading the way. And sure enough, you are indeed the edge of the pass is in sight. But just as you are coming towards those strange sideways trees growing in the edges of the cliffs that mark the entryway, you hear something else, not just the hoofbeats of the monsters behind you, but you hear sort of a fell and whispering wind rising from the waters, and you hear a voice, and you look down into the water and you see the face of that enemy soldier that you killed. And he looks up at you from under the water and he holds out a hand and says, "Come join me." This is the last river to cross. What do you do?
I don't think we can go in there.
What do you mean, Rob?
Yeah, what?
I just saw something, and I don't know if I can go. I don't know if I can do it.
You're kind of always seeing something.
Who looks into the water next? Goes down to see.
Probably Imelda, but
Yep.
she's definitely like
You
what do you about?
You look down and you see a face that it takes you a moment to recognize because it's been so long since you saw the face of your father. You were just a little girl the last time you saw him. But he smiles up at you and he says, "Sweetheart, I missed you so much. Come explore with me. I have so much to show you."
Well, that probably really strikes her. I'm gonna roll for this.
Sure, what are you rolling?
I'm gonna roll a d6, and if it's if it's 3 and under, she's going for it. If it's above that, then she's not.
Okay.
5. So she is kind of, she's like, no, that's not my father. Not my father. And she turns away from the river. Just, not my father.
Yom and Amash, you see Rob, then Imelda have this reaction to the water. What do you do?
I look in. But I look in prepared to see something horrific.
Dylan looks up at you and he says, "You're right. It should have been you."
I would like to negotiate an obstacle.
Hell yeah.
I will roll with true, and I will look at Dylan and say, "You're not Dylan. Dylan is not someone who would say this to me. Dylan is someone who would step in front of a shadow for me." I'm gonna roll that. I died.
Oh, what did you get?
No, I got a 5.
All right.
No, actually,
Uh,
a 6, but still undead.
That's a
Died.
miss. But you aren't dead yet. You say that.
I'm dead from sadness, from shame of
Dead from
failure.
sadness.
No, it's
You say that, attempting
Ouch.
to ban.
prepare for things to go from bad to worse.
Yes, you say that, attempting to banish this spirit, but it only laughs. It laughs in a strange and terrible parody of your dear friend's kind laughter. And then before your eyes, it breaks through the water and rises up to stand facing you, floating, or its feet standing on the surface of this mucky water. And behind you, you hear the hoofbeats, those asymmetrical hoofbeats, getting closer. And for the first time in the distance, you see, cresting over the hills, the hunters. And you have no doubt that they have spotted you. There are the hunters behind you. There is a river where one spirit has risen to face you. Who knows what else is underneath this water? What do you want to do?
Boris, get him!
What? The donkey turns and runs.
Oh no! I grabbed the food real quick as he runs away.
Yeah, that donkey is gone. Boris has done his best, and now he canters upriver into the distance. Does anybody want to try gazing into the distance? Does anybody want to try negotiating an obstacle? Does anybody have anything else? Do we want to start running or hiding?
Well, I actually wanted to ask, like, what exactly is this terrain again?
An excellent question. So you are separated from this whole area. Is basically turned into swamp at this point.
Yeah.
There is one river remaining that is probably waist high on you all if you tried to ford it directly. It is about, say, 10 yards wide at the point where you have come. It is more or less a straight line north, running west, blocking your way. But do you want to go ahead and gaze into the distance to see if you see any other possible way to ford it? Or look for any other, or negotiate an obstacle to try to ford it? Or gaze into the distance to see if there's anything else that you know that you're missing, that, or any other way to make peace?
I'm gonna do something if I can. I'm gonna use my guileless ability. How far away are these pursuers?
They are probably we'll say about half a mile, and quickly closing from a mile to half a mile. Closing in on you very quickly. And I will say guile is an excellent idea. You have already encountered the hunters before, and you know it's unlikely to work on them.
Oh.
There's somebody else here that it might work on.
Tell it to go
Something
Dylan.
else here.
Ghost Dylan.
Ghost Dylan? Oh, the ghost. Oh, I see. Okay.
Well, isn't Ghost Dylan one of the hunters?
No, these are not the hunters.
Oh.
Okay.
The hunters are
Thank God, I'm not
closing
that
in
keen,
from
but yes, you're right.
behind you. They're
I was
coming up
going
on you from the south.
I was gonna try and talk heart to heart with the Doom Soldiers, but no, I should talk to Ghost Dylan. And so I'm gonna approach the ghost and go, my My parents are waiting for me at home, and I know that somewhere you still have family that needs you and wants you. And why don't we just part ways and you go see your family and we can go see ours? All right. That's my speech.
And the spirit is obliged to reply with a story in kind of their
that's
own
right, yeah.
home. And while it is distracted, thus, does anybody, because this is one of the features, if you can't create goodwill, you can at least distract it. Does anybody want to take a moment while Ghost Dylan is engaged with Rob to try to pull something else? Because it's worked. Dylan is not looking at the rest of you. He's locked in on Rob right now. If anybody wants to try something sneaky as Ghost.
Get out of here.
If I mean, I'd like to. What is it called? Gaze.
Gaze into the distance.
Yep.
Yeah. So okay, that requires a story, right?
Well,
No,
so
you just have to notice something in the landscape.
Oh, that one.
Well,
That's
first describe what fragment of loveliness in the landscape has caught your eye.
Oof. Okay, that's might be challenging.
You can search your environment or memories for answers.
Okay. I noticed that Rob has got the attention of the ghost. I kind of come back to myself, and I think back and remember this place. We crossed it, and it didn't look like this. It was beautiful. It was just. I remembered coming out of the mountains, and it was almost like just coming into a whole different land. Almost, I mean, it's similar to where we live, but different too. And having been in the mountains for all that time, it just felt what is that word? Not overwhelming, but
Whelming?
sure, why not?
You're so whelmed.
In a good way, overwhelming in a great
Welcomed.
way. Almost like a great big nature hug. Yeah, that'll work.
Sense of awe.
Yeah.
And what would you like to ask?
I'd like to ask if I can see anything around that might help us get across, like
So,
tree or,
what am I overlooking?
yeah. What am I overlooking?
So what you are overlooking as you cast your eyes around desperately as Ghost Dylan is telling a tale of his home, which is full of angry howls and hungry ghosts and an endless aching need that can never be satisfied. You look around and you spot that these worn branches and thickets that fill this brackish stream are blackthorn. And you remember an old song about cutting a stout staff of blackthorn to ward off ghosts and goblins.
Okay then.
Would you like to negotiate an obstacle?
Yes, I would. Indeed. So, I am looking at the wrong page.
So to negotiate an obstacle, you say how you're approaching the obstacle, and then you can choose one of your 3 stats to roll with. Swift, keen, or true.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is head over there quickly and take my skinning knife out and attempt to cut free some of that so that I can use it against the ghost.
I'll give that to you for free. You can cut that. You don't have a problem cutting that.
Oh, okay.
Loose. The obstacle you're going to negotiate is
Okay. All right. So once I cut that, I'd like to give each of my companions a piece as I go by, and I'll lead them by waving it and kind of repeating the words of the song as best as I can remember. Blackthorn, Blackthorn, get thee away. Go back to the shadow. You're not here for today. Nobody needs you around. Go back to the ground. Hey, Blackthorn. I'm glad you're around.
Nice.
Love it. That's perfect.
Okay.
Absolutely perfect. Go ahead and roll for it.
Okay.
Incredible.
That will be and I have a +1 in everything, so it's just going to be +1. That is a 12.
It is like it comes to your hand. You know that those aren't the right lyrics, but you do not care as you are charging in the real memories of your father singing that silly song to you, and you realize that those aren't the right lyrics because those were the ones that he sang to make you laugh when you were afraid of ghosts and goblins when you were a little girl. And he would sing that with you, and you charge in yelling the silly children's song, and your friends come in behind you, all picking it up, baffled as these ghosts fall back before you. You all ford the river handily.
Except
And
for Boris.
Except for Boris, who is gone. Goodbye, Boris. He's gone, hopefully to a better place.
We were going to try and send him off towards the last town so he'd at least be found by somebody else who needed an asshole of a donkey, but...
He was a good donkey. He did what you asked.
Pretty good. He's all right. As donkeys go.
It is time for one final sprint as the hunters are pulling closer and closer to you. The mountain pass is too narrow for mounts. They will not be able to follow you. And I realized that I read this wrong. The peril move for running, hiding, make a desperate stand. Mm-hmm. The reason that it's so easy to succeed when everybody rolls is that only one person rolls. So I need, as you guys ford this river and make the final sprint, one person, because I'm assuming at this point you're going to run, one person to roll and add their swift to lead the charge. Who's it going to be?
Sounds like Rob with the +2.
Rob, before you roll, choose now the one person in the party that you want most of all to keep safe.
It's gonna be Imelda. I need her to be able to resolve her issues with her parents.
All right, Rob, go ahead and make your roll.
Okay, here we go. Oh wow! I rolled a 6 and a 5, so I get 13.
Wow.
Rob has always, you have all your life you have been, ever since this began, you have been the one who has only cared for your own skin. In this moment, you grab Imelda, but turn as well to your companion and yell, "Follow me!" And it all comes together at this moment. You lead everyone in this charge pell-mell across the land, finding your footing perfectly. And on a 13, you escape with Imelda and with any companions near you. You make it.
Guys, let's go. Ashers and taters. They're
Does
calling
anybody
us.
want to describe what it looks like as you make this last mad dash ahead, just ahead of the hunters?
I think we run real fast.
We run, but the hunters are so caught up in catching us and running us down that we have already made it onto this pass, and they come just crashing into it. And for a moment, we think we're done, and then one hunter just knocks into the other and falls off the side of the mountain. Then another one, the path beneath it just gives way and it falls off the side of the mountain. And the last one, we worry for a minute as we're still hustling up this pass, and it is doing its level best to keep up with us. But
Can I take care of the last one?
Yeah, go for it.
I was going to do this as a desperate stand move if Imelda failed the roll to get us across the river, but instead I'll just do it. I pull out my whistle that can always be heard, and I blow into it so hard that it can be heard from beyond the grave. And Ghost Dylan comes out to find this hunter who is, paralyzed by the sound because he's hearing it. He's hearing it from the other side, but Ghost Dylan is also summoned by it, and he comes up and becomes this hunter's fallen best friend, and then he drags him back down into the river for us.
Incredible.
Yeah.
And then maybe there's an avalanche. I hadn't really decided between those two. I blow the whistles, a bunch of shit happens.
Avalanche, but...
Yeah.
The first snows are falling as you make it through this pass. Muddy, stained, barely enough food for one breakfast, let alone two. But you stumble into your village. And let's go ahead and take a moment. You have all survived, and it's time to share your brief epilogue of what happens as you come back to the life that you put down to go on this great adventure. So this can be a single scene or a quick montage. For every burden that you have cleared, so if you have, everybody can incorporate one of the stories of growth. It's on page 39. I don't think everybody still has at least one uncleared burden. So for every
Sarah, if
yes.
I might, page 7 of the handouts PDF.
Yes, thank you. So everybody's going to share an epilogue that incorporates a story of growth and a story of amends. And nobody had any unnamed burdens left, so no stories of isolation in this group.
No, I have 2 of those.
You do?
Yeah. I have one.
Oh, okay, yes. If you want to take it as starting with 4, then yes.
No, I started with my one named burden and 3 unnamed burdens.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And over the course, I named one of my unnames, but
Okay.
I never got to name the other two. So
Okay. Then yes, we can play it that way. Then in that case, then everybody has one. You and Steve have 2 unnamed burdens, and Paul and Cindy each have 1. So everybody basically can pick 1 story of growth, 1 amends, and 1 isolation, pretty much. Jason, do you want to kick us off? With
no.
Gnome's return? No.
All right. So I actually have 2 named burdens and 1 unnamed right now, because I did name one of them partway through. So let's see. I think when I arrive home, a ruined field is replanted. I think I'm just going to modify that a bit to the flock that I left in the care of my brother, Andy Fieldwright. And I'm going to, when I find him, when I left, the flock was imperiled. They were greatly reduced in number by wolf attacks that had taken place. And Andy, while I was gone, had sort of shored them up. And with my return, the 2 of us together are able to bring the flock back up to full strength. During which time I think I probably pass on my flute to Andy to let him know that this flute will do all kinds of weird shit and it might help you save the sheep. Additionally, yeah, I think I adopt the pup of the wolf that killed the flocks last year. I think the wolf has since been hunted down and slain, but I find its pup, and I take in an orphan. Yeah, and that's... Oh, I have to take a story of isolation as well. I think somewhere... I don't know if it's literally true, because I never venture down there again, but somewhere Dylan's home is crumbling into rot.
All right. And feel free to take these out of order, if you prefer.
Yeah, I'll go ahead with mine. So I'm combining them. But my story of amends, I'm going to choose that the door is opened, and it's the door to my parents' home. As I arrive back, they're shocked to see me, and as a story of growth, there is a long delayed party celebrated. I'd left on my mother's birthday, and I bring her back a gift from the war, and as my story of isolation, I hold out my hand to her, which is left empty because she gives me a hug. And that's it.
Very nice.
So, like, the first thing Yom does when we all arrive home is he finds his girl. Like, this thing is, they weren't really a thing when Yom left. But he's been, he's had these feelings like just kind of working them, like worming around in his gut this entire time. And he finds her and just confesses his feelings. And
it was the bravest thing he ever did.
She doesn't feel the same way.
No.
In fact, she has actually, in the time he was gone, we've been gone, she has, started building a life with one of Yom's close friends.
Oh,
And that, Yom, it doesn't, he feels bad. Not great. It's not a good feeling. And but he is eventually able to take heart, and he starts fixing up an abandoned home at the edge of our community, giving it just new life and trying to find new life for himself. Unfortunately, Yom has a deep love of birds and bird watching, and unfortunately, one night while he's sleeping by the fire, his just what is that thing called? It was
a guidebook.
Yeah, his big guidebook of birds slips from his lap and finds its way into the fire, and the fire burns it to nothing.
Mm.
The end.
All right, and Cindy, bring us home.
Okay. So the very first thing that Emilda does is basically make a quick beeline to her mother's house. And on her way there, she's considering, do I knock? Do I go in? Do I knock? Do I go in? Because it's been, she doesn't even know, 3-4 years now. She doesn't know. Ultimately, she doesn't have to make the decision because her mother opens the door and comes out and gives her a big hug. She feels like she has to apologize and say how sorry she is, but her mom just shushes her down and says, no, none of that. They end up pulling, her mom is getting up there, so she helps, put weeds in the garden and fix the house up, things that her father would have done had he been there. She shares the story of the song about the blackthorn and adds a new verse, including her companions' names, giving them each a verse. The only thing that she really, there's a lot she still carries with her from all of that. There's a lot of impact, but that wanderlust, it remains. She still loves to be alone and to be in the forest, but she's decided to stay with her mom until doesn't need her anymore, until the end. And then possibly at that point, wander again, because the gift that she brought home was knowledge of new stars. And she would like to do that again. She would like to see new stars again.
Love it. All right, everybody. You've made it home. You are back from the Broken Lands. Congratulations. Great game, everybody. And thank you all so much for playing. And thank everybody at home who joined us. Thank you to our party of raiders who came in and joined us. Thank you again. This is from Cloven Pine Games. available at Cloven Pine Games or cloven-pine-games.itch.io. So thank you very much to them. It's a fantastic game, wonderful time. And
Sarah,
yes,
thank you for running this for us.
Yes.
very
Great
much. It was
job.
very good.
Thank you. Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for
very
being
good.
wonderful players. This was a most excellent adventure, and
Yes.
we'll wish everybody good night.
Yeah, just as we're signing out, Friday, we're finishing up our 3 sessions of Dungeon Crawl Classics in our little Archonia side quest over there. The following Friday, we're back in Midlight City for the first time in over a year. We'll be doing 2 sessions there. And then after that, I don't even know. There's a bunch of absences on the calendar. We'll let you know. And then next week. What's next week?
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Next week
Labyrinth?
here,
Next week is Labyrinth.
Labyrinth. Yuri is going to run Labyrinth for us for 3 weeks. Yeah.
Remind me of the bay.
Very cool.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, everyone. We'll see